It all starts with the fall of Krypton. You already know how Krypton's story usually goes, so that's not the focus here. Instead, we begin in a place called the Redlands, where Superman's parents worked as miners. One day there's a cave-in. This was the first sign to Jor-El that Krypton was dying. As he explores the mine, he finds a group of trapped miners. But they're not just dealing with the cave collapsing, they're also being attacked by native creatures. Now, on the surface it seems kind of innocuous and a little bit silly. But magmoles, there's a reason why they're doing what they're doing. Because Jor-El says that's impossible. They do not tunnel this far above the planet's mantle, and they've never attacked people before. And so he says something must have disturbed the food chain, pushed them out of their natural habitat. They're scared, and they're hungry. Now, where his initial response is, we can't just start killing them because they're attacking us. The other miners are fighting for survival. So their whole mindset is, when they show up, we kill them. No questions asked. And we do that as we make our way out of this place. And so that's where Superman kind of gives us this bit of a monologue where he says, the people of the Kryptonian countryside were used to fighting for survival. Against the scorching red daybreak and hard-baked soil, the gemstorms spewing diamond hailstones at hurricane speeds, the infrared famines and acid tornadoes, and glacial volcanoes that would freeze entire oceans, the ruthless ruling powers of the cities, the sun-crazed beasts of the field. Every day, we battled them all. We built a place of peace and beauty in the Redlands of Krypton. But it did not come without toil and hardship, without grit and blisters, without the resolve it takes to fight for what is yours, no matter the cost. And so that's where Jor-El is effectively forced to do something that he didn't want to do, which is take up arms and kill all these magmoles. And so Superman continues on and he says, I come from generations of Kryptonians who made their way through the harshest of worlds with lava in their veins, dirt beneath their fingernails, and blood on their hands. Who am I to question my ancestors? And so following that, we pick up in Greenland, specifically with the Lazarus Core Research Facility. Now, as always, we do have a playlist if you need to get caught up. Yes, the playlist is current, but this initially focuses on Superman arriving here to basically rescue Jimmy Olsen. The reason being because Jimmy Olsen is a member of the Omegas, basically part of the resistance force that's led by Primus, whose identity we still don't necessarily know, that he was captured by Lois Lane. Lois's loyalty is unclear, but Jimmy means a lot to Superman. He's a reminder that the world can still be good. Most others have picked sides, for or against Lazarus. But no one admits that both sides might be wrong. Everyone believes they're the good guys. And so Superman just starts demolishing all these guys, right? They send out what resistance they can and what forces they can, but ultimately it doesn't really do any good. And in fact, as Jimmy Olsen is being taken through this research facility, there's of course news up there that's basically saying that the resistance is being dealt with, that Jimmy Olsen, one of the most high-profile members of the resistance, is basically being taken to a Lazarus facility. So the news being broadcast is as much to inform the public as it is to demoralize any pockets of resistance out there that are not aligning directly with the Omegas themselves. Basically Elmos, right? The last men on Earth, so to speak. What's also funny about this is that Lois Lane considers reporters to be morons, right? The irony, of course, is not lost on any of you guys here. But at that point, you learn of two main things. The first is that Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane are not as much enemy as we've been led to believe. That in some capacity they're working together. Right now, again, we don't know the full extent of this, but seemingly she's kind of working to get Jimmy on the inside. The other thing we learn here is that Ra's al Ghul is in this location. And in fact, he's watching the actions of Superman unfold. Now, one of the things to keep in mind here is that yes, the Absolute Universe has a lot going on right now. There's Absolute Joker and his grand schemes and all that kind of stuff. What seems to be going on here is that Ra's al Ghul is kind of the overarching hidden hand, the guy behind everything. Which to a degree makes sense considering the longevity of Ra's al Ghul in the main DC universe, that DC would carry that over. But again, that may not necessarily be the case. It could be that Ra's al Ghul, much like Absolute Joker, is answering to a higher power. But regardless, Absolute Brainiac is here. And where Ra's al Ghul asked the question, right, are all the pieces on the board? Has everything been arranged exactly as I described it? The response of Brainiac, yes. I have seen to it personally. And of course, Raish asks, right? He's like, you could not have chosen a less godforsaken location for such a momentous day, Brainiac. And the response of Brainiac. I've been running simulations millions a minute about the physiological changes one might experience when migrating from a red supergiant system like Krypton's to a yellow dwarf star's orbit. I believe Superman's absorption of solar energy to be the source of his remarkable powers. And here the sun will not rise for another 37 days. The longer he fights, the more Superman will exhaust his solar reserves. Now keep in mind here, right? The way that Ra's al Ghul has been presented to us here over the course of the Absolute Comics line is he's kind of a showman, right? That while he himself largely remains in the shadows, that he likes to display these shows of force to the world, that Lazarus is not an organization to be trifled with. Ra's wants a public defeat for Superman. He wants to prove Lazarus is not to be messed with. But more than that, he wants to defeat Superman at full strength. He says, I don't want him weak. I want him stronger than ever. Brainiac is surprised, but Ra's responds, that's what weaker men want. I want Superman at his best. Then we get the return of Christopher Smith, Peacemaker. He was part of the Lazarus military, but after meeting Superman and dealing with his own mental issues, he snapped. Brainiac reprogrammed him and gave him new powers. Peacemaker shows up and asks, this time can I win? He was stopped last time when he nearly killed Superman. Brainiac tells him yes and gives him kryptonite bullets. But Ra's cuts in and says, you take orders from me only, and your orders are simple. Make God proud. He gives him a kryptonite bullet, but we know there's more going on here. Meanwhile, Superman holds nothing back. He fights Lazarus forces hard. He doesn't kill them, but leaves them stranded far away. Ra's sees this and says, tell me he's killing them. Brainiac says no, he's sparing them. Ra's al Ghul then says, start phase 2, make him kill. Primus arrives and gives the order. Find Agent Alpha, find Olsen, kill anyone in your way. This group is more brutal than Superman. To them, they're the minors, and Superman is Jor-El, being too gentle. Peacemaker finds Lois and Jimmy and taunts them, watch me kill Superman with all my upgrades. Then Superman gives one of his best speeches. He says, I hear him coming. Peacemaker Smith. He has a kryptonite bullet made from my dead home. He almost killed me once. He's killed before and was rewarded for it. He thinks he's the hero of his story, and he'll keep killing unless someone stops him. His armor is advanced alien tech painfully fused into his body. He's the strongest human alive, but I'm not human. Peacemaker attacks. Superman beats him down in seconds, but he knows it won't stop him for long. Superman could end him permanently, with a look, a breath, a punch, but he refuses. He remembers his father's words. Back in the cave story, Jor-El told Superman he didn't like killing, but he had to do it to protect others. Superman asks, was it the right thing? Jor-El says, no, it's what we tell ourselves to feel better. Out here, we make hard choices, but we can't forget what cruelty is, even when we're the ones being cruel. Superman asks, but sometimes we have to do it, right, to save people? Jor-El replies, that's what it's been like for generations. Sometimes to save everything, you have to risk losing it all, even become the villain. Superman says, my father was the wisest man I knew. I wish I had more time with him, but he's gone. My mother, my world, they're all gone. In the end, they only saved me. And I am not the miner with the lava gun. I'm the last beast in the mine. Primus then questions Superman. After all he's done, you still won't kill him. Suddenly, Ra's al Ghul appears and scolds Primus. How dare you speak to him like that? He is the son of the demon. Lois is shocked. You're calling him your son? Ra's replies, not by blood, but the blood comes now, boy. Peacemaker, confused and angry, says, I thought I was your chosen one, the son of the demon. Ra's tells him, no, you're a weak pretender. Ra's fires the bullet. Superman tries to stop it, but it goes through his hand and kills Peacemaker. Ra's turns to Superman and says, your anger is a gift. We'll use it to remake the world. Isn't that what you want, my son? Superman replies, I am not your son. Ra's answers, maybe not now, but you will be. Suddenly, Primus stabs Superman with a kryptonite blade. Lois runs to help, but Primus knocks her out. It turns out, Primus was a double agent this whole time, leading the resistance while secretly working for Raish. Then Raish says, "You are not yet worthy to be called my child, but we will teach you, Talia and I." Talia al Ghul, Raish's daughter, is revealed as the secret leader of the resistance. Some of you had guessed it earlier, and you were right.